I'll do. I'll try something out here. All
Mhm.
right. Let's go. Well, we could try the half full or half empty. So I'll put like some headlines, right? And then you guys express to the viewers. Okay. Are you ready for the first one? Okay. All right.
Yes.
What do you guys think about so Goldman Sachs and a lot of all these private banks and whatnot sees that the US recession's odd is at 35% in the next two years. So so basically they're saying that a recession is definitely coming, and whether or not it's 1 or 2 years, that's the key question. What do you think, B? Are you half empty or half full?
I am full on that, 100%. A third, I'm
Well,
taking that one third. I'm taking that third chance. Taking that, I'm that
yeah,
33%. Let's go.
yeah. What about you, Matthias?
Oh, I feel the same way. I think it's just, especially for me, the pain point has been the exceedingly highly priced housing market. So if that's gonna help kind of just knock that down a little bit, I think that will make me half full, and I'll go, I'll go with that. Let's just say,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. Like the guys who are taking ARM mortgage rates, especially with the increasing interest rate, that they're gonna do the most harm. And if they can't pay, their monthly mortgage, it's not good, right? At least they
Hmm.
have at least 90 days, right?
Hmm.
And maybe bankruptcy lawyers and all that. But yeah. What about you, B? Like what is your reasoning if when you read that? What is your perspective when you read that topic?
Um, to me, I feel like I am an incoming buyer, so I want people
Yeah.
to. I I have bad intentions. I
the,
have bad
the
intentions, but at the end of the day, it's really all about being, like we talked about in the beginning, being financially smart, making good financial decisions, so then you can put yourself into that particular predicament in that situation.
Yeah.
So, were you, when you give that offer to the buyer, did you, I mean to the seller, did you kind of focus on your income and all that, etc., from year 1 to year 30, from your mortgage rate, from your mortgage plan? Did you put that into your calculation, XYZ? So
yeah.
like that's why I feel.
And what a lot of people they don't know is that if you take something with a lower interest rate and a higher price, they have negative equity towards the back end. So you can't really like if you don't really concentrate on the housing prices patterns in the next 3 or 4 quarters, it's going to be hard because you have to tack on that negative equity. So it's either you're going to put your sticker price up 25-30%, or you just gotta live with that negative equity for until your mortgage ends. Yeah. All right, so second topic. So these are your two most, well, I guess this guy is what B Revere and Matthias kind of like so Ackman SPAC
Oh yeah.
illegal
All
under
right.
proposed SEC rules, investor claims. So Pershing Square previously claimed rule backed in its position, and it disputes focus on whether the SPAC is an investment company. So SPACs, are you, or like Matthias, are you
So they're
half
coming under
full, half
fire.
empty?
I
Yeah,
it's not a business model I fully understood, to be honest with you.
the
And
SPACs.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not. I'm in business school. I'm not getting that what SPACs are, or I mean SPACs are. You know what I mean? And none of my, and It's something that was just invented very recently, and it's not something that has fully been verified to be, I don't know, legitimate business. But seems like it was created in an environment that's kind of self-regulating, and it was not really, there was no government involvement per se. But I think SEC coming in and kind of just seeing if this is legitimate business model and something that is in compliance with their own rules, SEC rules, I think that makes me half full, I guess.
Like you're optimistic for the SEC or optimistic for
I'm
Ackman?
optimistic for SEC to do the right thing and see if this is a legitimate business model that people should be putting their money in. Investors should be putting their money in, because so far, I don't know what I read on CNBC or CNBC.com or sometimes on Wall Street Journal. I have no idea how it works, and I don't think most people do either.
Mhm.
If I the guy who was in business school, and you guys are too, so don't fully get it, what hope does an average Joe have? You know what I mean? So it has to be something that clearly is
Yeah.
defined, and I'm hoping SEC does it. That's it.
So for SPAC, it's been there for forever.
Yeah.
It's just that it was never utilized that way.
Mhm.
Right now, there's a demand that people are seeing, especially venture capitalists. They're seeing a demand for people that want to get into the private markets, and that's really hard
Yep.
to do. So one way to do that is to use a entity called SPAC or SPAC, whatever you pronounce it, right? So that SPAC will kind of to give that need to those people who want to invest in the private entities, which is really hard to get into, right? Because you have to have
Yep.
X amount of cash and cash aid to get into those private markets.
And leverage.
Yes. So and you have to know people. If you don't know people, then you can't get in, and they don't want to get into, because people are. It's like an ego pull at the end of the day, power pull.
Doesn't that make it a little more rigged than, say, if something was on the market and you
Well,
can just buy with your own,
so
invest with your own cash?
so for the viewers out there, like so what both of these guys are getting into is the notion that in terms of FINRA rule, I'm not too familiar with SPAC, but from an investor point of view, and I'm just gonna say they're an open-ended fund, or they might be closed-ended fund. I still have to review that one, but they're basically a company that's created, whether if in the state of New York or New Jersey or whatever, and they basically do an IPO to the public at a certain amount of price, and whether if that price is essentially the net asset valuation, which will be covered in finance side of graduate school, and how it basically classifies that. But in general, it's basically a pooled set of fund. So it's like a mutual fund, but it's not as regulated. And a
It's
lot
like
of
a
it's
blank check.
yeah.
Blank check.
And
What are
and
the management
so
fees for SPACs? Like if you buy into
those
it?
vary. Those vary
Yeah.
because what sets a price is whoever started it, right? And the reasons why, like, I see your eyes roll. why Ackman is, like, he built his reputation on doing the right thing, and then like him getting caught with SEC, that's like, oh my god, so
Sorry to cut you off, Adam. The difference between that SPAC and the other SPACs is that he is using that blank check, the amount that his investors have used for that SPAC, to buy a percentage of Universal Music Group, UMG, and then that's the reason why he's in trouble. If for example, usually that blank check is used to fully buy a company, not buy pieces of it, which what's his company,
Pershing.
Pershing. Yeah, Pershing. They owned from his portfolio, they own like what now, like 40% or 20%, and then they're using the SPAC money for additional like 10, 15%, which in the fine text of law, they're gonna run into a lot of lawsuits, and because they're gonna challenge the wording of the law. So I feel like
So
Bill might have overstepped on that front, and because it's easier to kind of, I'm assuming I don't know the stats and the fees, but I'm assuming it's cheaper to acquire some parts of it that way than going through the traditional markets.
yeah, and it's usually how it goes is your percentage of what you own in the SPAC is equivalent to whatever company that's bought. So if let's say you have a SPAC for a Canadian energy company, and you own like 1% of the SPAC, you basically now owns that Canadian company. So it kind of like switched over. It's like a convertible. So a lot of it is definitely listed in the prospectus or some legal writing. I don't know what SPACs use in terms of prospectus, but I think they still use that, right? The same thing.
I think so.
Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely do your research. Because and here's the thing, since there's nobody utilize this, and it's the reasons why we're seeing it as brand new is it's getting more popular. It's because like they don't need to do a prospectus. They you don't need to outline their business plan like typical bond securities. So so B, what was that? Was that half empty or was that half full?
I do have full, to be honest, because you think about it too.
Half full to Ackman or the SEC?
SEC, because at the end of the day,
Oh, this is surprising. We're rooting for SEC here.
Hey, we love the SEC. SEC, if you're listening,
come to us. Come to us.
yeah, we'll be happy to open our books.
Yeah, because you think about it, like SPACs, even the idea was even brought into my um my end of the circle professionally, and it's very interesting for them to kind of mention it as well. But it's just because it's easier to make a company public via SPAC than IPO. There's so more paperwork, so more things you have to do in an IPO compared to a SPAC. So that's another use case for companies kind of, hey, let's do a SPAC instead, compared to an IPO, because there's the red tape involved with IPOs versus a SPAC. So
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So next one. Let's do crypto.
Oh gosh.
I'll
Here
read
we
you.
go.
I'll read you a deadline.
Oh,
Are you ready?
gosh.
Are you ready?
Oh gosh.
going to the moon.
All right. All right. So here's the headline. Bitcoin risk reward calculation is being upended by the rising rates. So essentially that headline kind of talks about how inflation and entering Bitcoin, like in terms of your position, like having a Bitcoin position versus the typical treasury bill within your portfolio, stuff like that. So what happened to Bitcoin as interest rates rises, trading volumes went way down. Now market watchers are grappling with the implication and what the world of less loose monetary policy means for digital assets. So with that headline, that little brief description,
Oh
who wants to go
man, that
first?
makes me so happy. I'm just rooting for all
Well,
this digital innovation of currencies to just
so half full in what?
take a dive.
Half full to the notion that Bitcoin is not a alternative investment.
I don't think it's an alternative investment. It's just there's just no asset. Like it's just you're being sold that the idea is just that the technology itself will become mainstream, will be used in many other places. I think is basically what they're trying to sell for the most part. Maybe I'm mixing the concepts itself, but I don't know. I just hope it takes a dive.
Yeah.
I'm half full. That the interest rates.
Man, nobody is half empty. All right, B, what do you got?
I think, me personally, I feel like Bitcoin, the top coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are the ones that they're gonna stay. The other ones are other coins
The
are
the
gonna go
altcoins,
away.
yeah.
Yeah, those are gonna go away. Those are the ones, like for example, you can call those like penny stocks in the crypto world. They're just gonna come and go. But for those two, I feel like they're top two. They're gonna stay because a lot of engineers are building their platform on those two kind of coins. So they're always gonna be there because there's a need for there. Um, and I feel like it's gonna be a very niche market for that.
What need is it fulfilling? Like,
The need
yeah,
It, it
what need is it
it
fulfilling? What
it
problem is
varies.
it solving?
It
You know?
varies because technology. It's not don't think about like just the cryptocurrency itself. I feel like if you look into how they develop the way they do their things,
Mhm.
it varies because some of them are building metaverses, right? Some of them are building other parts of the technology differently than others. Some are using, like, you guys don't know this. You guys know this. They're using it for, trying to create their own currency, right?
Yeah.
But then there are others that is using for different parts of technology. Uh, like for example, they're trying to make Roblox metaverse called Meta, stuff like that. So it's very different. It's I feel like for me, how I feel about cryptocurrency in general, it's not about the currency itself because the open source technology is there. Banks, and finance companies, they can just use what's open source and build it to their platforms and build that, and that's really key. I feel like is to kind of open the idea of technology so that people can use it and people can explore and expand and advance. And before, it hasn't been like that because there's no open source code that companies are gonna give to other companies so they can be better than them because
The competition. Yeah.
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 So I feel like that's kind of one of the purposes for cryptocurrency. So then is there open source code so people can kind of build upon that. But you know how it is, competition is gonna do its thing. But I feel like it's more like a technology tech race, not really more like a coin race, my opinion. Maybe they use the the cryptocurrencies, so then they can fund their projects. That's how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah,
That's
it's
really
a
how I
new way
feel.
to raise capital.
It's like their SPAC.
Like,
It's like the
yeah,
SPAC,
how
basically.
they
Yeah.
Ukraine, like, I think they basically did a coin and people
Mhm.
purchased that
Mhm.
coin just
Yeah.
to fund their current defense operations, right? And so for our listeners and whatever, um and I'm pretty sure if you're into crypto, instead of an IPO, it's the initial coin offering, right? And a lot of a lot of them are either within CoinDesk or other alternative platforms. I think like crypto.com does a lot of the ICOs, and I think Robinhood is doing a bit of those too. Like the biggest thing is because it's not written in law. You, there's no rule against pump and dumps for crypto. So let's be super careful with it. But yeah, it's
Or
like
you
for
can
me,
just, I
like
don't
how
know.
I see it is like it's like the mileage and like all these credit cards and airline companies, like they're basically like these artificial coins that have some sort of value in the end, depending on who's creating these coins. And I don't know, it's kind of like, to me, it's weird because like I really uh like equity, right? As in like in terms of uh people participating in the market. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope these guys aren't getting scammed.
I mean, you know they are. You know they are.
Yeah.
It's just because I don't know, for us folks, at least on Wall Street, it is at least somewhat regulated. And if you do pump and dump, at least there's someone to look out for you, SEC. Yeah, if they take a look at it, if there is any kind of financial malpractice, you can just file a case with them. But I don't think there is such a thing in digital
Yeah.
currency.
It's the wild, wild west now. Yeah.
Just with social media, everything digital,
Yeah.
nothing in
So-
place in stone.
So,
But anyway, I
so
gave my
this-
opinion. It's not factual, and it's not factual, but neither is the coin, whatever it is. I mean,
Call them out. Coins are not factual.
they're not real.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
let's send this clip to the crypto people, and they're gonna
Yeah.
pop up in Matthew's little inbox. What are you talking about?
They'll be like,
What's his
"Oh,
last name?
yeah, here's a dummy. He doesn't get it."
Yeah.
It'll be
Oh my
like a
God.
meme. Oh gosh, no.
Matthew, you should say this. If you agree with me, send me crypto coin here. Ting. If you don't agree with me, send me crypto coin again. Ting.
Oh man. Oh, speaking
You
of
can milk that.
that,
thing.
right?
Milk it.
So you know how like 1934 or I forget the law, but essentially when someone buys a security, they actually own the security and it's holding at their account. Whereas crypto, the person who buys it stays within the broker's database, and then it's never on their account, so they technically don't own it. And
it.
like, yeah, and so like I do get it where like if they really just like people out, they could just people can sue them and all that jazz, and that fear of reprisal might prevent them to do such things. But like if they have like a law, like if Congress makes a law that dictates the actual person's position and ownership of the coin, I think that would definitely legitimize that whole entire industry. Yeah. But so we're gonna have to keep up with time. Do you guys like this? Like the like topic conversation based upon, you know, like your guys' choice?
Go ahead, B.
I haven't had the sports one. I'll look for more for that stuff. But
It's gonna be hard because it's a lot of it's not a lot of sports business stuff right now, really. Because it's only like pertaining to politics and sports these days, really.
yeah.
So yeah. But these topics that that you know that we went through, it's I think very entertaining. The way the dialogue that we give to it's very open ended. It's not really like, hey, it's this, it's only this. You know, we're not trying to give anybody advice. We're just giving our thoughts and opinions about it. And a disclaimer: we're not your advisors, so don't listen to us. Take advice from us.
Good.
Because
good. Yes,
that is actually a rule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. All of this is an opinion and can't be tied to our employers.
Yes. So yeah, so these topics are really I enjoyed these open-ended questions. Super fun.
Yeah. Matthews?
I like it. And well, this is the first one, so I think next one would be a little more I don't know.
Structured.
Structured. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And then that would give it a lot more structure, and but it will remain fun and casual, and then and I like that. So I like it so far.
And I feel like for us, if there's some things that we don't want to be aired, we could just like, hey, note on the page or whatever, say X or some code word.
Yeah.
We'll just cut it out. Or if
I
needed,
like the X.
yeah. Or if needed, we can just like, hey, stop. We can
Matthews.
stop, record, and repeat again if you want to. If
Yeah.
you want to kind of have it more clean.
Yeah.
And we'll get better at this. And and you guys like the weekly structured, right? And I guess we'll do it on
I like
demand.
the weekly cadences. I think it'll be fine. Yeah.
I think the weekly cadence is great, and I like it. As it just
To our viewers out there, if you're looking for a job, essentially companies would go towards the midpoint minus 20%, and companies would make the difference by your bonuses and your raise. So essentially, it's one way to incentivize you to stay longer, but it's also a good way for a company to save money, to basically be like, yeah, we can afford you this much, but in reality, we're not sure what our end of year profit would be. So, yeah.
Don't you think that's a little bit of
A farce.
yes. I wanted to
Yes.
say it in a politically correct way.
I am a huge fan of not getting a bonus. Like I think employers should pay the person as they should, but sometimes that's hard because like they do want, like, from an employer's perspective, they want to
Better
save money.
performance, and
Yeah.
also, yeah.
And give you like a little bit of like room, like saying, hey, well, if we pay you this much, are you gonna perform the same way if we put a bonus? Which in a way, I don't know.
It comes with the
It's our
territory.
system.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know,
I was just being a little bit of I just wanted to talk about it while we're here.
The frustration's valid,
yeah.
like, yeah.
Hey Matthews, one thing you can add to your trigger as well, because the demand for jobs is not high for the employee.
Dude,
right?
just apply everywhere with an
Dude.
internal, man.
And like for example, I feel like because companies want people to be in now, and the need is so high, they will give you as much as they can so you can get in, so they can get you in.
Yeah.
Really. So right now is the perfect time for you as an employee to kind of, you have a bigger wager. You got bigger, what's not wager? Bigger
Leverage.
Yeah.
than what we had in the past.
That's fair.
Yeah. And to
And
our viewers
like
out there,
what we-
keep applying, man.
and like what we've what we talked about before too, the wage people, the unemployment rate that's happening right now. There's so many jobs out there, but it's not getting they're not being taken. So there's a lot of money out there that to be spent from the companies. So you have a lot of leverage. Yeah.
This is gonna sound a little negative, but it's actually true. The amount of women that resign from executive positions, staggering, super staggering. Not just executive, but like any mid to upper level roles when the COVID hit, and they haven't been back in office yet because of childcare issues and X, Y, and Z. So there's a ton that is kind of open right now and that have remained unfilled since 2020. So
yeah.
And
anyway,
interesting point of view. I'll give you this too about that childcare stuff.
Yeah.
Look, if you had kid, right? Texas this year, it's the first year. It's a new tax break that you can have.
Oh, wait.
There's expenditures.
What is that?
Childcare.
What is that?
I forgot that particular tax documentation. It was like the 8,000 something. But if you can,
the increase, the childcare benefit, yep.
Yes, childcare benefit. So they used to never have that, but now they do this year. So that could be a way to kind of combat that issue that you just said. So.
Yeah. This can be a topic to discuss. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, B has 2 babies now, so it's a very relevant topic and personal one. So.
And I may or may not have babies out there. So if my son or daughter is out there, reach out to your dad.
Most people don't want to find out if they do have one.
Well,
most guys.
I'm bored and I want to support you, for endorsements, Spotted Cow. Right?
I actually don't like Spotted Cow anymore.
What?
Yeah, I don't like it anymore. No, it tastes like water.
Dude. It's like
piss water now.
What?
Yeah, I don't like it anymore. Ever since I got into the IPA world, it's disgusting. But hey, Matthews, you said you were into wine. I got myself into wine like crazy.
Oh my god!
I'm a big wine head now.
Yes. Are you red? Do you like red?
I love my reds. I love my reds. I've been going crazy on a Malbec and a lot of Melbacks. I just got into one. Sonoma County is amazing. I've been into trying a lot of Napa Valleys. So I found some cheap ones. It's crazy. I found 2016 Napa Valley for like $16. So I was like, holy crap.
Wait, is it blended or is it like
No,
pure?
pure per cab,
Oh, okay.
per cab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Let's start a collection, man. Like, I'm serious. Like, I don't drink that often, right? But I love collecting them because
It looks cool. Very,
Yeah.
very gives you a very, what's that word? Mystique.
Masculine.
sophisticated vibe.
Yes, it really does.
It's like it's a manly
Yeah.
man cave kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Sam's Club, they have their own they have blendeds, red blends, cabs, Melbacks, Bordeaux. You have all these cool stuff. Man, I'm like, man, the closest Walt Sam's Club liquor store is like in Maple Grove, which is only like a
Okay.
15-minute drive. It's not that bad, but I think for you, Matthews, there's one in Egan. So if
yeah.
you want to get
Oh
one,
yeah.
South.
it's cheap too. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
won't need a membership. You can just go in, come out.
Oh, gotcha. That's pretty
Speaking
cool.
of wine, those are considered alternative investments, and like you can definitely
Yeah.
like. So there was a broker that was advertising to me that you can buy like cases of wine and then hold them, and because like they basically hold them for like 10 years, their value would increase, whatever. Like I was like looking, like this was like a year and a half ago. I was like looking at the validity of it, and I was like,
not as a business model, but as a hobby,
yeah, as
I
a
can buy it.
Collector hobby.
Collector
Yeah.
hobby.
Yes,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
what was it? Johnny Walker Blue. There was a guy that always buys his kid, like because they have the dates and everything, like Johnny Walker every year, right? And so when he turned like 35 or whatever, and he started doing this when he was like 8 years old or something like that. But he basically got like from starting when he was whenever he started and the time that he sold it, he basically bunched them up together, and he was able to make a profit of like $500,000 based upon that lot of Johnny Walker. And
Wow.
I was like, count me in.
Hey, I tell you, man. Hey, Adam. Actually, I think it was like last year. I ventured into a YouTube video of this Asian guy on Tasty Trade or something. He mentioned the
Yeah.
same thing.
Wow.
Maybe the same video. Maybe the same guy. Guys from Wall Street
was-
too. Yeah.
It was an English guy that
Oh,
did that.
Interesting. Because you think about
Yeah.
it, wine age increases the value.
Yeah. So is
now you know what to get for your kid each birthday.
alternative
$100
investment.
$100
Alternative
bottle
investment.
wine.
Because
so
like
they
in
can
terms of
collect it and sell it, and that would be their college fund.
It's like our Pokemon card. The Pokemon cards back in the day. That we should have kept them clean and sold them. Now look at the
Oh.
value now these days. Oh
I
man.
know.
and in terms of like taxing, right? Like I don't know whether if they consider that as like capital gains, because technically it's a gift. Like it's capped within like $1 million, whatever.
Oh, here we
But-
go. Okay, let's go here. Next topic. Venmo. They are now cracking that down. Venmo, PayPal. If you receive X amount of dollars,
$600, yeah.
yeah, 600 or so, whatever year accumulated, then they're gonna, they're cracking down on that compared to a couple of years ago, last year, a new bill has passed. Now they're cracking that down,
Wow.
that loophole. So,
But that
I'm pretty sure.
that reporting is so easy though. Like
Yeah.
like Venmo just had to basically be like, oh, here's a transaction
Mhm.
there.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's interesting. Well,
But
let's
In
do this
closing-
next week again.
Yeah, in
And I have
closing.
to. In closing, go ahead. In closing, we're back.
yeah. We're back. So last words. All right, B Matthews, you got any last words? Like a sentence or two?
yeah, I can help close my portion. Episode 1 has been very, very insightful from the points of views from Matthews and Adam, and I hope to carry this conversation for episode 2.
Matthews.
I second that. No more comments from me.
The only thing I gotta say is stay hungry, but be safe.
For sure.
All right.
All right. Love you, besties.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye,
Love you
guys.
guys.
Talk to you
Bye.
next week.